What's going on? It's Justeeni here. This is the final round of the Swiss stage, the Polytitans tournament, and this is an important one. I have to win this if I want to advance to the next stage and be in the money. If I win, I am top 4 in the money. So I have to win this. But it's going to be a little bit difficult because I am against the one and only Viking the Cat. One of the greatest live game players. You might also know him as the Katsali World Champion, and you might notice that we're playing Katsali in the first round. Because the way that these work, these are best of 3s. And the hosting player, so with this first one, Viking, gets to pick the tribe, and the away player, in this case me, gets to pick the map. So I have to play dirty here because I know Viking is the better player. So what's the least skill-based map that you can pick? Unfortunately, Waterworld is banned, so I have to go with the next least skill-based option, continents. The map basically plays itself half the time. So let's get right into things. So I have a very nice spawn here, very fruity, very delicious, nice coastal spawn, which is pretty nice to see with Katsali. So this is why I went for continents. It's pretty simple to play. I also have both suburbs, which is a rarity on this map type. But we take it. So just getting my expansion done, ready to get into the water, getting my upgrades, all that fancy schmancy stuff. Get my port connections, already expanding in the water. Things are going swimmingly for me. And I decide, instead of going for this village, I decide to go onto this continent where I suspect Viking is. If I can just steal the village from him, that's going to make my life super easy. So immediately going for that. Sailing pre-cap. Already see a starfish here, which is a great sign. On this normal continent, you can expect a few starfish. I see Viking, get the meeting stars, and I am first to that village. I'm very happy with that. Get some explorers going. Maybe I can rush a quick Eye of God as well, depending on how things go. And I get that lighthouse there. Grab another explorer. Also getting some really good vision, but I see a catapult, which... And I also get the lighthouse, which is awesome. Seeing the catapult, very nice that I was able to force this out, because this slows down Viking a ton. But also a bit unfortunate at the same time. He does have the means of kicking me off this village. So, some pluses and some minuses, but also another thing, and not really sure how to think about this at the moment, I see a ton of bridge spots here, which is going to be really good if you're going into markets. And Vikings going into markets. However, I do still have naval control, so things still certainly are not going bad for me as of yet. I'm also considering trying to steal this city here, if possible. Also, trying to maybe keep that defender off, because if neither of us can have the city, then that's really good. But unfortunately, a vet sword that I didn't expect walks in, and he is getting that city. Nothing I can do about it at this point. But I do get a population ruin, never punished. Very happy to see that, of course. Go for the port here just to grab that lighthouse. It's the only way. It's very costly, very sad, but it's not too bad at least. Capture the village, port connection, get the explorer in turn 10 Eye of God on a normal continent. How about that? Another island village for me to take. And plenty of starfish to work with. Even a little starfish here on this bridge spot if I can get my hands on it. I don't know if I will be able to in this case. Well, I do know because I know how the game wins. But I have to build suspense, right? Stepping on this starfish for now. Maybe I'll take it. Maybe I'll go in the village. We'll see. And we do see this very strong border growth taking control of all these bridge spots. We know what Viking's gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm taking the starfish. There's another starfish there. Look at what Midge1 has graced me with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 starfish. And 2 island cities. Absolutely insane. I'm gonna have navigation pay itself off and then some. but I do still have to be quite careful here. This whole market v naval dynamic is not an easy one to navigate, but this is looking quite good for me. I'm able to take lots of delicious cities, grab some more ruins, because I basically got like almost all the ruins on this map, because of course, like, everything's just going my way. But the question is, now what? So I got a pop ruin, that's cool. But what do I actually do here? Because if we look at this, normally the way that you win with the naval spawn is you attack the coastal cities. Problem: Viking only has one coastal city. And normally that would be a really good thing, because if they don't have any coastal cities, or very few, it's easier to pin them down. But there's bridge spots, so I have to be very careful with how I navigate this. This is very losable, especially against such a powerful player. So I decided to send in all my juggernauts for the pressure on land, hopefully to force some response, or maybe even take a city by force. And I'm also standing on the starfish, hoping to keep it, and I go for riding here, which looks a little unusual at first, but there is going to be a method to this madness. We see a catapult in the fog. I cannot get the starfish. Very unfortunate. More starfish, though, collected. Now I go climbing, step on this mountain, pressure here, send the bomber in, and this looks like a very, very devastating attack. I might just be winning the city. Sieging here, that's going to get unsieged, though, but it is a nice distraction anyway. But with another catapult walking in, and Viking wisely just keeping this giant in the range of the bomber, knowing full well that it's not splashing anything, not moving the catapults also, because, you know, don't want to get splashed. And I don't really have a good attack. But I get roads now. All these starfish, again, even though I had to commit all the way to navigation, this is paying itself off and then some, because starfish are fair and balanced. So now I just have riding roads myself, and plenty of stars to work with. I'm going to be able to get Grand Bazaar if I like, but now we see the markets from Viking continuing to build up, plenty of units on defense, and now you have to ask yourself, why are there 3 giants here? I only need 2 to keep my bomber safe. What's this third one doing? I've got another bomber here as well to keep chipping away at this giant. I got a farming rune, which is almost useless. I have 1 farm, so it obviously sucks, but you know, we have to look on the bright side of things sometimes. Another giant. Workshop. Another bomber. And you can start to see maybe where things slip. This giant here isn't really helping. I've got 3 bombers when only 1 is necessary. So all this commitment here when I should be committing towards this western side of the map. And subtle foreshadowing, maybe that might be an issue here. I sent my Grand Bazaar there at least. You know, I am at least somewhat mindful of the fact that there will be a western attack. I'm just not as worried as I should be, perhaps. See now more market development by Viking, setting that economy up. Then get ready for a very strong assault. Now I go hunting forestry, getting ready to get math and trade myself. Yes, that's right. Not too late for me to go markets. No, like actually it isn't. I have really strong market spots over here. 2 level 8s, in fact. So yeah, it's absolutely not too late for me to go markets. Though I would have been able to get them a lot faster had I not commit so much on one side of the map. And we can see Viking, really scary. Lots of units, lots of catapults, lots of everything. I mean, how can I even punish these catapults? I can't even get knights. Going for this pop growth here. Getting another giant, trying to set up as much defense as possible. Can't really go for catapults yet, but I can go for another border growth, which is going to get me nicely set up for more juicy markets. Another giant, more economy. And I've got this bomber up here, but with this juggernaut pressuring the bomber, can't really stay there for long, so I'll have to send that back. But I can get a bridge here. Viking bridged across himself, but he did leave himself open for a bridge here. However, I have to build a bridge for Viking in order to take out that catapult. But I am able to get some more units ready. Viking now with archers, which are going to be a nice way of counterattacking my bombers, perhaps, and also pressuring even further. I go for the siege with the giant as a bit of a distraction, because these giants just aren't doing much else here. This giant just gets taken out. And with an archer now attacking this bomber, it's hard for me to send support to the west here or pressure any other point. So it looks like Viking's going to be doing all the attacking. Now a knight here. And this is starting to look really bad. I had an amazing situation gifted to me, but it's starting to fall apart slowly but surely. I do get mathematics, though. Setting up more juicy giants. Get a catapult going. Maybe, just maybe, that can help me just in time. More defenders. Hopefully that can hold off the knight. Bomber has to go back, though. Another giant ready. I am able to get quite a lot of units ready to defend, but I don't have an answer to the catapults or the archers or anything like that. And with Viking able to spam so many knights, he can eventually brute force. And if he can take my cities in the west, it's going to be over. Also destroying the bridges, so then I can't reach anything. So I kind of just have to sit and wait for him to eventually destroy me. Maybe, just maybe, I can set up some defense. I go for trade first, though. Get lots of economy. Because if I'm going to pull something off, I'm going to need a lot of economy. So I get those beautiful markets. Now 63 star per turn. But even with all that economy, it's still looking quite sketchy. Bunch of bridges. Continuing to attack. Sieging with the rider. Is not good to siege with a giant there. I can always get the push or just unsiege by force. Now also, whenever you have this good market economy, you want to pressure in as many places as possible. Viking doing just that. And getting this very strong border growth. Sabotaging my economy, which did very much affect my plans. I really needed those stars if I'm to pull something off here. But I am at least able to take care of things. I get things connected. Once again, trying to send some giants up. Bombers bombing. Yeah, the bomber's really not doing much in the east. I would have loved some more support in the west. Another sawmill, another catapult, pushing that. Just trying to maybe get some sort of counterattack. Something. I've got all this economy, but things are just going to slowly and inevitably fall apart. Not going for the siege with the giant again, though. He knows that I can push. Goes instead for this knight chain and is just getting ready to set up a very strong siege. So even if I do unsiege with the giant, he's just going to immediately resiege. That's the plan. Getting units in the water, so I have to retreat my bombers. And there's just so many units. And I'm desperately trying to hold on here, and it's just getting uglier by the turn. But I have one out here, starting with Free Spirit. And I buy my techs at very different times, just in case Viking is score counting and can't see the knight that I train. However, in retrospect, I kind of realized, like, afterward, like this turn, like, Viking has vision on this knight, like 1000%, because he got some explorers there. He didn't get the lighthouse, but he did get vision, so yeah. He even has the northern lighthouse. There's no way he doesn't see the knight. So basically, what I have to hope for here now is that Viking just messes up. And as he goes through this turn, sieging with the archer, blocking with the giants, so he forces an incredibly awkward unsiege. And he's keeping his units nice and safe behind the giants. And everything's getting nicely taken care of here. He is leaving a chain, but I can't really do much with that. There's just this chain here. Everything else is nicely blocked off. I can't really reach any other units. However, I can actually reach any other units. In fact, the game ends here. You can see by the replay bar as well. I destroy the port, placing the bridge, and now all of Viking's army gets chained, and his attack immediately dies. And I'm able to somehow, even though I was getting outplayed for most of the game, I managed to find one crucial mistake and save things with a 15 unit chain. Oh my goodness. Now I just need to win one more game. So go ahead and cut to the next match. Alright, next match, I pick Zabasi, and of course he picks Archipelago because he knows that he's going to be better than me with Zabasi and Archipelago than other maps. Because, I know how to play Zabasi pretty well. But as some extra context to really add to the stakes, the Game 3 match is a predetermined one. Otherwise, that gives the hosting player a bit of an advantage to be able to pick the tribe twice. But this time, with this round, the third game is going to be Barter Lakes. That's the predetermined matchup. So knowing that in advance, I'm sweating because there's one player that happens to be really good at Barter Lakes. Slimming Boy. Well, he's not playing this one, but the other player that's really good at Barter Lakes, Viking the Cat. And that's my opponent. So I don't want to get to a game 3 because my chances of winning are not very high. So I really need to win this. And anyway, also, yeah, the rules with this, host skips turn 0, so that's why I skip turn 0, yada yada, I have to win. Zabasi, Archipelago. And a very important thing in general is you always have to decide, do you want to bonus a spawn? With the hosting player, you get till turn 4 because you skipped your turn 0. So, turn 4. Do you bonus here? Serious question. Do you think the spawn is good enough to win? Or maybe they just steal your village and you cry? Well, you can see in the replay bar that I decide to play this out. Will this be a fatal mistake? Maybe not. I might be keeping the village. And with all these nice port connections, things are looking quite lovely. There's a city here as well, and this is kind of why I decided to keep it. I'm gonna have a nice amount of cities, but Viking's able to take the city actually. But I'm commit. I have to stick with it. I take the Explorer. And yeah, Viking win for riding. Bought riding, in fact, so despite the fact that I am losing that city, I'm still feeling fine, all things considered, because he had to buy riding, which slowed him down a lot. And I'm able to get some really juicy connections. Another nice upgrade here, going for workshop. There is a ruin there, which I don't like to see because I want to get that ruin for myself, but it's not really happening. I can smack that rider, make another warrior. And I'm just saving my stars here. In this case, I wanted to get sailing and make 2 scouts. Is this actually the right play? It's tough to say. I do kick them off the ruin, but it does slow my economy quite a lot, so we'll see. Now we see lots of upgrades here. Level 4 city, soon to get a giant. But with these scouts, I can also deny this village, which is really, really disruptive. Workshop up here, port connection, get the upgrade. Getting ready to get a giant soon, and another giant here with the 3 farms. This boat also able to go to this village because I have vision on it, because I took the Explorer here in this city. And things are starting to look really good. But now he goes for a port back here as well. Gets a giant, and maybe the plans are cancelled here. Some riders being put into the ports. I am able to get my own giant. It requires this backwards port, but I do want to get this lighthouse anyway, so not much of a detriment there. I do have a Park of Fortune, but I have no idea where I want to put it actually, because I kind of goofed my turn up a little bit. I could have Park of Fortune in the city, but I guess I have to wait to put it somewhere else. So we'll see. Now 2 rammers though, not surprising. There's plenty of shallow water, so you're not really missing out on much by avoiding sailing, and just sniping out 2 of my scouts is really good here. Plus getting the Juggernaut in the water. I am able to get another Juggernaut ready to go. But we actually said that this Juggernaut gets commit forward and not backward, so I'm actually keeping the city for good. And with this extra Juggernaut in the pocket, now the rammer's going here. Both of them forced to take this, and it's a very expensive kicking off that city there. But we can see now Grand Bazaar. I am quite a bit behind in expansion, despite the fact that I should have been faster to get off the water, you know, with like, if fact that Viking was forced into riding, but it looks like he was still able to get all of his cities just fine in this case. So I'm gonna have to find some way to win despite that. You know, just training some warriors, got some giants. Now this giant going backwards as well to pressure the city. And I'm able to get some attack here. I've got 2 giants, but he does have a giant to answer, but I can get this city captured. Workshop here. And then I place Grand Bazaar here to get a 3rd giant, and now suddenly an attack is brewing. Maybe, just maybe, this is how I do it. Viking walks in with a giant. Unbeknownst to him, I can splash in and also hit with my own Juggernaut. Definitely lacking in vision, this little rider sieging my city. This Juggernaut also trying to defend against my giant there. And this Juggernaut just getting absolutely pelted away at. Now going for an Explore down here. Is it going to be able to get Eye of God? No, it's short on moves. But it does give me nice vision and an extra lighthouse, which I actually do need here. Get a nice port connection, and I just need lighthouse and another port for another Juggernaut. And these scouts helping to chip away at the Juggernauts, even if not as efficient as rammers, they're still pretty nice here. But with these warriors plus Juggernauts defending against the giant, this giant landing, so it's nice and safe. Rammers being really effective here. Get a sword rune, which isn't great. But I do have a very lively attack. I go in with the 28 HP giant, poke away at the rammer, poke away at that Juggernaut, almost down for the count. And I place a bunch of ports because I don't have anywhere else to place my Gate of Power, and I really want a Juggernaut there to just keep things held on as I get my attack going. Now I take out the Juggernaut with the scout, because if they rammer, then I just Juggernaut. This Juggernaut gets sent back, though. Giants ready to defend. Plus now Viking has scouts and ramming, steps on the village. And even though city count right now is equal, a nice 7-7, with this 8th one being very contested, it's starting to look pretty rough unless I can make something happen here. So maybe, just maybe, this attack in the north plays out, but then I get a navigation ruin. And that completely flips things because navigation is insanely good here. Starfish for free. How about that? Go for the siege with the 36 HP giant. And there's no Houdini here. I'm playing around that. You always have to worry about that on Archipelago. But then I go ramming now. Take out that rammer. I'm able to afford ramming more easily because of the navigation ruin. Rammer there, take out that scout. Rammer here to hit this giant. My initial idea was that this giant would not be able to kill this, but you can see it still can. So a bit of a misplay. However, there was actually a good play with the rammer. I just needed to send it to this tile. And this is going to be a pretty huge misplay. Able to get some units in the water at least. Really huge turn thanks to that nav ruin. But the defense is going to happen thanks in no small part to this giant stepping into this port. It could have stepped into this port, yes, but not only would it have blocked off a potential rammer to help defend, also, notice how many units that this giant splashed. It splashed 4 extra units instead of none. So, yeah, nice play, Justeeni. Good job. So, that attack is dead, but my chances of winning are still very much alive thanks to the bomber, or the navigation ruin, giving me lots of juicy starfish. And I get a nice siege here, supported now with 2 juggernauts. So I've got another attack up here in the north. I've just been throwing everything at this. But this time it's looking like it might just stick. Rammer going in as well. Yes, it's going to be able to get taken out, but it is going to deal with the giant once and for all. Plus the siege here. I'm going to be holding on to this city and actually getting a city advantage at this point. And there is not a way to unsiege. Viking resigns. And I did it. I beat Viking. 2-0 in fact. I mean, I did get blessed a lot by Mijuan, admittedly. But I did it. I managed to hold on, and now I make my way to the final bracket. I'm in the money. Yippee. After, what, 6 seasons? Finally. Yeah. What the heck? I don't even know what to think. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.